Hi guys, those who have come back, we're going to go straight back in, hopefully when they join me. I am learning so much, honestly, especially in relation to love. It's so true. You have to have humility to be able to accept love. That's such a key point, and I've never actually thought of it like that. So often we focus on how can we give love to somebody else, but how do you accept love? That's just as important as being able to give it. And also the love you receive from God should, I guess, put you in a position where you know, I actually am worthy of accepting someone's love towards me, and also in a position to give it to somebody else. Hi, Auntie Donna. So those who are joining back, I'm just saying, I'll just wait for them to come back and we'll go back live with them. I can't open the window. Honestly, I can't. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm not even going to do that because then I'd have to open the window. But yeah, unfortunately, those who know from the beginning, I can't open the window because there's a big spider. And yeah, we're not doing that today. So we're just waiting for them to come back on. But like I said, guys, I am learning so much about it. So much. So this has been great. Yeah, accepting love is sometimes not easy. I agree. It is one of those things. We think it's okay and we think we'll be fine, but when you get into a relationship, you realize, actually, do I have an issue with receiving love? It's amazing. And that's why relationships are so amazing. It kind of gives this like magnifying glass to parts of your character, your way of thinking, which wouldn't have happened if you weren't in one, whether that's friendship or some form of romantic relationship. How often do you realize that you're vulnerable without somebody telling you, or without someone close enough to give you that insight? So this is why I guess relationships are so crucial and vital in our lives. I wonder if they know that they'll need to go live with me. Let me try and send a request to them. Hold on a second. I'm not sure if they know whether they can go live. Oh, okay. Give me 1 second. Remember, guys, if you've got an anonymous question, just send it through the question box. I think they should be connecting anytime now. Hoping. So tonight's been very insightful for me already, honestly. It's made me realize a lot, and just how things come together as well, with the story of how they met. You don't know what God's doing in the background, and I hear relationship stories all the time, and it always just seems so like that sounds like a God plan. Like God must have said, okay, this person's going to be there at this time, that person's going to be coming back from this. So it's never doubt the fact that God can put you in the right place at the right time. What did it say? We're using my account. Okay, cool. That didn't work. Let me try and request to go live with you guys. Oh dear. Do you mind sending the request again? I'm going to try and do it. Oh, wicked. Okay, hopefully it will work now. Hoping it's not my internet. Oh, perfect.
Sorry.
Hello.
Hey, sorry guys.
No, it's fine. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I was looking at my phone, but for some reason it just didn't have the live. It was just like Parkside's not live anymore, and it just wasn't updating. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Don't worry. I was just going through the stuff that I've learned already in this week. You guys explaining love, humility, the fact that you have to, I guess, understand, like you said, just as God's loved you, regardless of the things that you've done, you then should be in a position to be able to accept someone else loving you just as much, and vice versa, and then being able to give love to the person who you're receiving love from. You guys have said some gems. I'm literally going to rewatch this again in my own time because I'm learning so much. I know someone said you guys might have to start a podcast or YouTube channel or something. Put it out there.
Oh,
all right.
Okay, so we didn't get cut for our first time sharing.
Consider it, honestly.
Tiffany.
Those who are joining, sorry, again, as I said before, any questions are anonymous, just send them into the box. I think I remember someone asked, how do you keep the spark alive in your relationship? That was from before.
I think, like we said before, it takes work. Like, I think when we were just like together and like thirsty, if that's a good word, but yeah, it just kind of came natural. But I think as kids get involved, and you have to be really intentional. And I think for me, it's a massive learning curve because I kind of grew up in a family. I was the youngest, so I was very much like, if I do something for you, you better celebrate me after. like if I don't know. So like Matthew was just used to his mum like tell them what kind of things she would do for you.
I don't know, like say if I, if my hair was a bit itchy, she'd be like, okay, well I'm gonna go to like the black hair store after work and get you a specific product which is only sold in Stratford, so that can help you with your itchy scalp or something.
No way.
Well, and to do that, she have to get up at 4 a.m. to make dinner when she was going to be there in the evening. So that was like a normal thing. So for me, if my head's itchy, I'm like, why isn't Miri buying me a special thing for my hair?
Like, she was just amazing. Like, she was just like, before you even knew what you wanted, she had the remedy. Like, she was just like such an amazing, selfless mom. And so I think for me, it was just like I guess when I would do a surprise birthday or whatever, it was like I would find it really difficult that he wasn't really expressive. But I didn't realize that was a result of him not being able to receive love. I just felt like this guy's ungrateful. And so it was hard sometimes. Oh, hey. It was hard to sometimes keep that spark because I would get disheartened, if that makes any sense.
And in context, like obviously probably everyone knows that I'm a pastor's kid, so I'm used to, probably like with your dad, like you're used to like your parents going out and doing stuff, a lot of things for other people. And my dad's the same. You can't do anything for him. He wants to do it for you. He wants to serve you. And so my mum being like pastor's wife as well, it's kind of like they were always doing things for other people. And I found it hard to receive. So again, it's more like I will go out of my way to do something amazing for Miri, but don't do it for me. I don't need anything. All I need is just like a bit of bread and like a bit. I'm calm. Like, I'm easy. But I think that's not a relationship. Like it's not like I don't want to use Miri to make me myself. Well, I'm a good Christian because I love my wife. It's like I need to be able to be like, no, receive it. This is her way of loving you. Accept it. Feel God's love through her. Like and move. Like see it as a reminder of how much God loves you. You can't just keep rejecting it and keep just like a relationship where it's not a two-way thing. Both people need to be able to love each other, love in their own special way. So,
and I think we both have had to take different times where we have to reprioritize each other, and just remind each other that we need to invest in this relationship, and because it's not just because our kids are watching, it's because we want to have a happy, healthy relationship. Because,
so I think keep that spark alive, open, honest communication. Like date nights and something we're kind of regurgitating what we learn in the marriage course. Date nights, you must have weekly date nights. Doesn't matter what form it takes, whether it's just like, and we've had to get creative in lockdown. Like, you have to have a date night every week. That's just, if we're going to get prescriptive, just do that. And that will help with the spark. Absolutely. So,
being able to appreciate each other's love, I guess, from what you're saying. That's,
Yeah.
gosh, it's a lot. What you guys are saying, I don't think you realize, like Nicole said, so deep. It is so deep. I think the concept of love, I think, a lot of times goes over our head more than we think. And you guys, the way you're breaking it down, I don't think you realize how much it's helping people, because you can't just be in a position where, okay, I like this person, and like you said, I'll do all of this for that person, but you know, if I don't want to accept it, that's fine, that's just how I am. But you guys were able to see what each other wanted, I guess, to accept as love, and wanted to express each other's love to each other, and then actually accept it. You weren't just like, you know, this is how I've always been. And that goes back again to humility as well. So you're almost learning how it worked along the way. And I think love languages, I guess, go into it as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. Wow. Let me go to one of these questions that I've got here. How do you stay focused on yourself while in a relationship?
How do you stay focused on yourself in a relationship?
Well, that's something we
developing
to learn as well.
Go on, yeah.
Yeah, Miri, you should. This is all you, girl.
No,
This is all you, girl.
No, I think because I came to uni when I met Matthew, and I just like, I was working and I had student loan. So like, I brought what I want, when I want, how I want. I was just in the Mac store, like just like maxing out my card, like, and then it was just like, and then I got pregnant, and it was just like, oh no, like this is just like literally not my life anymore.
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was like, wow, like I think so for the next like how many years, at least like the next 5 years.
Yeah.
I think even more, let's be real, apart from like recently,
Yeah.
it's just been like face moisturizer from Aldi or
Aldi.
Lidl's.
Aldi life.
Aldi
With a
life.
sprinkle of M&S
Yeah.
on payday.
So like everything's just been like selfless for a good few years. But then I think we had to learn the hard way that I wasn't as fruitful, I wasn't as generous and loving when I didn't take time for myself.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like we really had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
And I saw like my amazing husband, like he was just climbing. Like I was just like, okay, I'm doing my little job here, trying to like keep things going for the family, and he was just like going from like shoe fetcher at Dulce's, like back in the day at Reading, to like working in Mayfair, to like getting chartered, and then just like becoming associate director.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, like I was just in awe and so happy. But then like sometimes there was a little bit of resentment. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like, I'm tired of being invisible. And that was a journey that was definitely necessary, because I think I was reading loads of books about like unseen, and just like I think I felt really challenged that the fact that Jesus was here for his ministry for 33 years, and only I think 3 years of that was him actually being out in the open. But then he chose to come in like an unseen form. God could have chosen whatever he wanted to like make his comeback, do you know what I mean? Like, but he chose to come in a unseen form. So for me, that was just like, don't ever get it twisted, this is your most powerful form. Like it doesn't have to be seen, it doesn't have to be even appreciated. Like that's been a journey for me to really appreciate that secret place, and appreciate that what others might not see, God sees. And that's literally been throughout everything, my life, but also my career and stuff. But then God exalts the humble, do you know what I mean? And it's like he's like, girl, your time's coming, don't you worry. But At the same time, I realized that I needed to be open to not forget myself completely, because at the same time, sometimes I would be really like, I would be really nervous about being kind of selfish, because in my mind I would hear like Mother Teresa, like, want to change the world, go home and love your family, do you know what I mean? Or like, love your children. And you're just like, oh, like, what am I doing out here in the streets? Like, do you know what I mean? And there definitely was a transition of like just like trying to be beautiful to find love, and just being loved, being in a season and allowing myself to be loved by my family, and just letting go of that kind of selfishness. But at the same time, so we saw that it was very necessary, but at the same time, there's a time and a season and a place where you will be hidden, you will have to be selfless. So yeah,
That's
one.
Wow. So powerful. Because I guess quite a few people might go through that as well. Because sometimes we don't understand the reality of things. You won't be on the same type of wavelength the whole relationship. There'll be times when you feel like you're over there, they're over here, whether it's in regards to career or just anything. So for you to have accepted and said, you know what, actually where I am is where I'm meant to be. I don't need to rush behind because I feel like I'm 10 steps behind. You were able to accept that. But like you said, that would have been through God, I guess, showing you, hold on, Miri, like, this is actually where I want you to be. Like, this is your, like you said, your time will come. So that's really, really powerful. Did you want to add anything to that, Matt, or should I go?
No, I think she's covered it really well. So
yeah. Perfect. Let me go to another question here. It says, I feel like we've already gone through about 1,000 of these. What was a God moment for you guys, where basically a time where God gave you confirmation of, yeah, you guys are definitely going to be getting married? So this is prior to marriage. Or do you want to say prior to marriage?
So, oh gosh. Not that I don't, it's like I do believe in that. I do believe in it. And I'm not like, obviously, each to their own. I'm not like, everyone's journey is different, and, you know, everyone's walk is different. But I think our relationship in particular was particularly, and anyone who knows me, like, and was around me at that time, would have known it was like an absolute roller coaster. And so there wasn't like this, I was like, I want to get off now. Like, can I just get off? Like, I can't, I don't have anything left. Like, I can't do this. So there was a particular time that we kind of got through our first year at university. We were still friends, but at the same time, like, there was definitely like a connection between us. And it kind of felt like sometimes too much connection, if we're honest. And sometimes it felt like, there was a point in that relationship, probably in May of that year.
Yeah, I remember.
You said that?
Corinne.
Was that Corinne? Yeah. Yeah, so May of that year, like, we kind of got to like I think we had an understanding, like, yeah, I think we're gonna see how this goes. We still have the massive like SDA like elephant in the room, like saying read your Bible, like we still have that. So how are we going to navigate that? How are we going to navigate the cultures coming together if we were to go into that relationship? But then I was going to Jamaica, like my brother was getting married in America, and I was going to Jamaica afterwards to do some like mission work. And so I felt like God was saying, like, you know, take a break, do what you need to do. This is what I called you to do. Go and do it and come back. And when I came back, this was like now end of August. We met up, and everything was a bit like weird, like not quite like cool. We were in Trafalgar Square, and we were just like messing around and having fun, but she wasn't really there. And so I see, yeah. So like I went home, and then I went to like at the back of my garden. We had like a shed, and my dad had put some like weights in there, so I was in there like working out, you know, getting hench and all of that. And we started talking on the phone. I think then like she was talking, and she was saying that she started talking to her previous like partner, and they was trying to like, you know, just resolve some of the issues that were unresolved at the time when they did break up. So I was like, yeah, that's cool, like, you know. And then she kept talking about it, and I was like, oh, you're not like in love with him, are you? And then she was like, she started crying. She's like, I don't know. And I was just like, oh my gosh, Mary. Like, it was just like, so I remember coming out of that gym, like 1 a.m, and just being like, God, Dad, what are you doing? Like, stop messing me about. Like, this is a joke. I can't do this anymore. Like, I went to Jamaica, all right? I did what you asked me to do. Like, I need something now.
You went on mission to serve the Lord.
You know? And so, like, I remember just feeling like, this is ridiculous. And I was audibly like, yeah, stressed, Dee. Like, Dee knows. So much stress. So, like,
sorry, guys.
I was like audibly saying to God, like, what the hell? I was like, I wasn't talking to him. I was screaming at him, like, what are you doing? You're taking a mick. This is not, I can't do this anymore. And I'm not joking. And I know, like, it does sound a bit hocus pocusy, like, you know, but definitely swear, like, on my, yeah, I swear. That I just heard this voice, like, behind me, like, there was a person standing behind me in my garden at 1 a.m, saying, like, trust me. So I just, like, whip my head around to be like, and try to be, you know, like, hello? You know, because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, someone's in my garden. And the voice just comes again, trust me. And at this point, I'm like, freaked out, and I just run in my house. Just like, I'm not in this garden anymore. But that's all I heard. That was a close, and that sounds pretty like weird, scary, whatever. But like, that's what I heard. But I didn't know what that meant. Like, trust me, that guy's gonna get your girl, man. And you're gonna be all alone. Like, trust me, like. I got a next hot thing around the corner. I don't know, but all I had was trust me. So I was like, so nothing's changed. I'm still gonna be in a stressful situation, but I have to trust God. And fast forward like 3 months, it's Christmas. That guy is out of the picture. Miri's like, you know, in a space where she feels like she can now commit to a relationship, and now she's saying to me, yeah, I want to like, let's do this, you know. And so, and then within a month of that, like, Miri's pregnant. We were at uni, second year of our uni, and Miri's pregnant. And not by miraculous, conception.
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't a Mary Jesus thing.
This was just like, oh, you look good. We need, you know, that's what it was. Like, we were struggling. We were like students struggling, like.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, my parents are messaging, like my sister at the time, she was messaging me like, I'm so proud. You're the only one that's like finishing uni, or you're at uni. And I was just like, oh.
And then my dad comes down. My dad comes down to visit Reddit Central.
Yeah.
By this time, I'm going Reddit Central. I'm like, you know, really been looked after so amazingly by your dad, by Steve, by Michael, by Donna.
That's amazing. And your mom.
Yeah.
We love both of them.
And Dad's in church, like, yeah, Matthew and Priscilla, stand up, my lovely children. You got, you know. And Miri's there for the first time, pregnant.
Oh my
Meeting my parents pregnant for the first time, like.
It was a mess.
Not showing. It was a complete mess.
You guys are keep it real. Keep it
so,
real.
So yeah, in terms of confirmation, like, yeah, I think growing up in church, the confirmation is supposed to be like, yeah, that's your wife, and then it's like, now you're gonna go through a period of time, you know, preparing yourself for marriage. You have marriage, and you have fun, and for a while, and then you have kids, and it's like. This was just like,
not for us.
if this is confirmation, like, then yeah, call that confirmation. I don't know, getting pregnant in the second year of uni. Wow. It was like
stressful, and I didn't know. Like, I was like, and I think we didn't really appreciate each other's backgrounds. Like, I wasn't really a part of his church community, so although I heard he was a pastor's son, it was only at Reddit Central where it was like, no, he's legit a pastor's son. Like, his dad's over there on the pulpit. Like, oh my God, what have I done? Like, and he was just talking about how proud he was of Matthew. And I was just like, I just messed up an amazing family, because that stuff just didn't happen in his family. Like, they're just like, you know, like there's only one way and it's straight, and there's no rickety path. And I was just like, came up like a tornado to mess up the whole vibe. And I'm really sorry to the Burnett family. But I think for me, my time, it was difficult. So I think I also was very connected to church. I was like a worship leader. I was in the youth ministry, and like, so I had people to go to my church and speak to. And I think going back a bit to like some of the other questions about establishing vulnerability and stuff, this is kind of when Matthew really like stood tall, because from my kind of like community, or even just like experience in life, it's like I need to commit to having this baby because it's likely that I'll be raising this child by myself. That's what I genuinely thought. I was just like, and that's why, like, oh my gosh, Delvina, like I was talking to Matthew today,
Charlton.
and you made me cry, like in my bed. I was crying over how much I love you, girl. Like, so I don't know if she got bored and exited the group, but like, if you're still there, like, we love you so much. And I think for me, like, God really used Delvina, like, big time. So like, here I was, like, pregnant, and I didn't want to hear none of my church people. Like, I was just like, I know what they're gonna say, like, life is given from God, blah blah blah, and all of that I do genuinely believe. But I was just like, I just need some real talk, someone that's just gonna break it down to me. And like, she was that person through and through. She was just like, honey, like, she's from Hackney, and she was just like giving it to me like proper, like just telling me the truth, and just being like, babe, you need to make your own decision for yourself. If you're going to raise this child by yourself, you make it, and you make that decision. Like, because like other people she's known, or like if they have gone through abortions and stuff like that, if they've had to turn to like alcoholism, and like, are you really strong enough for that? And she just broke it down in a way that like was just so real. And I was just like, you know what, I don't think I could go through abortion, you know, like, even if this guy's gonna up and leave because there's just been a bit too much drama for him, like, I'm actually like, I don't think I could go through with like, I think I'll just punish myself too much and just look at every child or every buggy and just want to jump off a bridge. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's just the truth. I was just so like, I don't think I could do that. Even if I didn't have the support of a man, I'm just going to try. And I was raised by a single mom. So I was just like, you know what? I got this, like, whether he wants to be with me or not. But then it was just like, so I was still, even like after deciding to have Matthew's child, I was still like, I don't really know if he's down or if he's really, really for me. And I think one of the telling things was like, I was kind of showing at the time, and we went to my old church, and like, you know, when you go to visiting church and they're like, who's new here today? And like, you have to put your hand up, and I was just like, oh God, like, maybe Matthew doesn't have to put his hand up, like, but he was just like hand up high, and he just like, normally like they hold them up and like, where are you from? And like, Matthew, being a pastor's son, just grabbed the mic, not even like letting them hold it. He just grabbed it and was just like, I'm Matthew Burnett and I'm Miri's boyfriend. And I was like, oh my God! Like, wow. He said it loud and proud, and I was just like red, you know, like white girl red. It was just, there was no like bronzer hiding that. I was just like a red tomato, and I was just like, oh my gosh. But I had never had anybody like so proud to just be my man. Like, I was just like, I think he actually loves me. Like, wow. He's like standing in front of like 500 people that probably like are gonna crucify him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was a
And
bit like Lion's Den kind of thing.
Yeah, but he was just jumping in the den, like all out with his badge of honor that he was like the guy that's my boyfriend. So like that with my trust issues was just like, I think this guy is different. And I think there were other times where it was just like, it did get hard when I did have the baby and I was in London and I was at my sister's. Thank you to Kiva for looking after me. Like I went to my sister's and she was just amazing. She was there for me. And like Matthew continued his course and like he would come on the weekends and that was so hard. And I remember again, like Delvina was at our house once and like Matthew was just like, no, I can't take this. Like Caleb was screaming up the house and like he was just having a moment and was just like, literally, it was not pretty at that point and he literally like walked out the house and then like Delvina and like this girl is ride or die. Like I was literally crying this morning about her and she went after him and they had a conversation and she was just like, well, what are you gonna do, Matthew? What are you gonna do? You're gonna leave. And I was just like, obviously Matthew told me this because I was in the house just looking after my child.
Yeah.
But do you want to add to
no,
that
she was
story?
just saying like, you know, this is real life. This is real life. You like, where are you gonna go? You're gonna leave. You're gonna walk off. He's crying. It's a bit stressful right now. You're gonna leave. She just kept saying that. It was like, no. And she's like, you need to just go back inside. You need to go back inside and like, you know, deal with this. And so yeah,
He was amazing. That's like, yeah, you don't find friends like that every day.
So yeah, I guess that was kind of confirmations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't really say exactly. So
the main one.
So even though I was pregnant, even though I had a child, even though like I still didn't know, are we meant to be married? Do you see what I mean? Because again, we had the whole like we're from different denominations, and I was just, you know, do you raise a child with confusion, all of that stuff. I was just a bit. Yes, all of that. And I was absolutely like, I went to speak to different people and I had different kind of messages and different people saying, you know, I don't think you should do it. Like, I don't think you should get married. And it was hard. I was just like, God, I don't know what to do. So like rewind a little bit before Caleb was born. Me and my heavily pregnant self, my sister invited me to a conference. Literally, I was 2 weeks away from my due date. So I was all kinds of big. Like we had to bring my hospital bag in her car. But I was just like, I need me some Jesus. Like, I don't know what's happening with my life. I'm going to give birth in like 2 weeks or even today. I don't know. And like, I don't know what's happening with me and the father of my child. So I just felt like, oh my gosh, I need Jesus. So I go to this conference and I'm like late. I think I'm only there for half of it or something. And there's this guy, Craig Rochelle, the one who made the like YouVersion Bible app.
Oh wow.
So his church, he was there and he was just talking about disunity amongst Christians, and he was just saying, you know, like a lot of the time we focus on all the things that we disagree on, but we don't focus on the things that we do agree on. And he was like, he feels like the enemy uses that to his advantage. And he was just saying the amount of Christians around the world, if they came together with what they do agree on, they would be able to like end famine. And he was just listing all these like crazy, amazing things that we would be able to achieve as Christians, not like, you know, just all of that. I literally sat there with like tears in my eyes because I'd never heard that before. Like I'd never heard about focusing on like focus on what you do agree on. And I think that for me in that moment, like was literally like the message that literally said, Miri, I know it's gonna be scary, but I'm gonna walk with you, and I want you. It's okay for you to marry this guy. That was my like, okay, God moment. Like, but
Wow.
it took all the way up to like literally like me giving birth in like a few weeks for me to like have that message just like poured over me, and it was amazing. I'll never forget Craig Rochelle.
Yeah.
Oh my word, that's incredible. Oh my goodness. So I guess that message for you, it was almost as if you had never gone there, would you have still felt the same, to having that confidence that things were going to actually work together? It's all, the chances were a lot slimmer, basically, is what you're saying. Wow. That's incredible. And Matthew, you hearing that voice in the garden.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah,
God,
Still
guys,
more.
whoever is watching, one, God is so real. And two, when God says he's going to send you a sign, or when God says he's going to give you confirmation, best believe he will do that. Even in the ways which you may least expect it. I mean, did you go to the garden to hear a voice? No, but that's where it came from. Or did you go to the conference to hear that specific message? No, you were going there for almost just some kind of uplift and just to bring your spirits up. And then bam, the message is directly for you. It's honestly just like, it just proves that God really cares about us just so much. It's just honestly incredible. Let me see. We've got some questions here. Let me go to another question. What advice do you have for couples when one of you is really hurting emotionally? It's an interesting question.
Yeah. What advice do you have for couples if one of you's hurting emotionally? Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they mean in regards to what the other has done or personal issue, but if you can do both, so go for it.
Yeah, I think kind of echoing probably what I said previously, I think it's really important to be able to, number one, be able to address that or see that, identify that you are hurting emotionally. I think especially if it's the guy, I think sometimes with guys, stereotypically, it can be quite difficult to know kind of where you are hurting or what is hurting and why. You just know that you're not quite right and you don't know what's actually happening. I find it personally very difficult to identify sometimes what I'm feeling and why. I just kind of have hungry, anxious, horny. That's like the three things I can kind of know that I can feel. But like I don't know why am I hungry or why am I anxious. So I definitely identify that. I think it's, and you can do that again through people who talk about counseling. That's obviously a big thing now. People are now taking it seriously, and it's not just for people who are going through, bouts of depression or anxiety. It's just for everyday normal people. Like, just something's not right. I need to talk to a professional who knows how to prize out those who knows what kind of key things would typically be happening if you are going through a time of emotional trauma. But it's definitely to seek help, and it's for the person. Something we watched the marriage course yesterday. It was on sex, and so they were saying that even when it comes to sex, sometimes there can be, a woman may not be able to feel like connected in sex or feel stimulated in sex, or a guy, same thing. And it's like saying, go and see a specialist together. So if it's maybe her issue, doesn't mean that she needs to go off and sort herself. Or if he has erectile dysfunction, go and sort yourself out. Like, no, like, you are now one, you are both now a couple, and her problem is your problem. So I would encourage people to, like, don't just see it as, oh, there you go again. Every time we try to have sex, every time we try to get connected, you start crying and you start complaining about this or whatever. It's like, okay, there's something wrong. Let's go and try and resolve this together. Maybe I can come with you. Maybe I can, even if I don't come inside, what if I take you to the place of where we go and speak to somebody, or like, what can help you? And if you know your wife, and it's like, hey, for Miri, I know that if she's not doing great, then yeah, she does need to go and see Sammy. She does need to go and spend time with Kiva, like, and Alvina, like, these people who she has these relationships with, she does need to have that time with them. And I need to be able to hold it down at home to be able to enable her to do that. So if I need to leave work early, if I need to take a day off work, if I need to take a half day so that she can go and do what she needs to do, then I can support her, maybe not physically being there, but just by ensuring she doesn't have to worry about Noah or Caleb or this one or that one or whatever. So it can be, in terms of if someone is emotionally hurting, you're both emotionally hurting, and then it's like, how can I support you in resolving this and getting healing? I'm not saying resolving it in terms of sort out your issue. It's like get healing, and healing can take years, like a decade.
Literally.
And it's like, I am committed to supporting you to getting healing what you're going through. Yeah.
Wow. That's key. So it's not just an individual issue, it becomes the both of you going, right, work it out together. That's really powerful. Definitely. I hope that answers your question, the person who asked that. Let me go to another question. That one's too long to read. I can't even read it. Sorry, if you ask a question, try and paraphrase it. When they're tiny, my eyes start skipping, but I want to keep it anonymous. Let me go to a couple more. Do we have time? I guess we'll finish around. Is 5:30 okay? If we got
that's
about
fine.
Yeah,
that's cool.
You guys actually touched closely onto this question. So I guess some of your information might overlap. So it says, having a life partner means you have to sometimes compromise, make sacrifices of your own desires. What has been the beauty of becoming more selfless? Because I guess there might be people here who maybe they're suffering with having pride, or, you know, they've got an ego which has to sometimes crumble when it comes to a relationship. What would you say is the beauty of letting that go and letting that down in order to have a healthy marriage or relationship?
Oh yes, black culture. What was I saying?
Sacrifice.
Oh yeah. So kind of, I think for me, I kind of, when Miri was pregnant, it was kind of shattering for me, because I felt like my plans of, like, you know, getting my 2-liter Beamer and like getting a penthouse in Canary Wharf was kind of like not going to happen anymore. And so, like, for me, I'm like, that's fine. I'm coming back for that. I'll get back and get it later, you know. And so in my mind, I was always working towards that, always getting back to that point where I can finally drive off the lot with that Beamer. That's what I'm going to do, you know. And then I remember when we had this amazing God moment where we got our first home, and it was just like crazy, like, timing where like Miri's mum was able to, she just retired, she was able to support us into getting a new home. The new home was like the perfect size for us, perfect location. It was just like God just dropped it in our laps, from, like, you know, only one like mortgage provider would even touch us, and like you know, our credit was that bad. And so again, the shambles. But like, it was just like amazing that even happened. And so I had done this budget, but I was like, yeah, like we can definitely afford it. And then like after the first 2 months, I was like, yeah, we definitely can't afford this. And I'm like, this is before I was chartered, so it was like, I'm earning the max I can possibly earn in my industry. So I don't know how to get any more money. And so at this point, I was just like, babe, you need to turn up. You need to get some more money in here, because we can't live like this. We're living by hand to mouth sometimes, and like using our credit card on a monthly basis just for like Aldi shopping. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a good look.
Yeah, he was like, forget that charity job. You need to like.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you need to make some bread up here. So like, so again, because in my mind, so I have this idea of what I want to be and what I want my life to look like. How do I want to be perceived by, I know, you move into a new development, you're kind of, you know, you look at your neighbors, you want to show them what kind of family you are, where you're heading, what your life is looking like. And I'm like, there's no car on our drive, not even a Beamer, there's no car, you know. And so like that, and I remember like pressuring Miri, and she was going for interviews, and like, I'll be like, so how's it going? I would help her, I would write her CV, I'd help her prep for it, and we would like do everything. And she was about to take a job which was paying her probably like, I don't know, 4K more than she was getting previously. It was like in the other part of town. She wasn't going to be able to pick up Caleb every day. And thank God she didn't get it. And I remember like at times being like, why can't she just, you know, just get it? Like, just go out there and smash it, bring home like the bread, like just get some bread, make her some bread, you know? And then God was just like, bro, like you just need to just calm down, like a lot, like turn it down like a lot before she hits you, like seriously. And he was just like, look, the reality is it's not going to happen. Like your mindset, what you want to achieve, and what you want to do is nothing to do about the mountain of success you're climbing. You're going to get to the top, and you're going to be there by yourself. You're going to have no kids. You're going to have nothing. So it's like, so it's kind of like I set this. I hadn't even achieved it yet, but my mindset, well, I was really living that kind of selfish life. My life was selfish. My life was about, again, showing other people what I could have and what I've achieved, and that I'm no longer the screw up who got my girlfriend pregnant the second year. I'm the big dog and I'm making the big money, like whatever. Like that's what I wanted to do, and then I felt like God was just saying to me, like, you've just got to stop that. And so it was hard to kind of leave my driveway with no car on there for another 2 years, 18 months, to not buy crepes since I haven't bought crepes since uni. Like seriously, not even like a pair of like Air Forces, nothing. And so
even Primark weren't getting our money.
Yeah, it was just like, but it was hard because people now, you're in the age, you're expected to be a certain level career-wise. You're expected to be a certain stature. How much money have you got in the bank? All that stuff. All those pressures I felt, especially working in Mayfair in the city, it was like everything around me was just like everyone's winning. Yeah. I'm the only one losing. But I just had to be like, I don't care if I lose for the next 10 years. But it's like God had to commit my heart. Like even if I lose for 10 years, I don't care, because like I'm committed to this person, and actually living a selfless life is actually the life which God's called me to live.
Wow.
And so I had to kind of say no to all the cultural kind of things that are being pushed my way, but even in church, to be like, this is our journey, this is my family. And it's like, okay, so I had it in my head, and I was like, right, so now it's just got to be about how can I make what we have, even the little we have, just feel amazing. How can we do date nights at home and make them feel amazing? How can we did like, M&S meals, £20, like kind of like a
that was our date night.
That was our date night.
When our friends was going to like some sick restaurant and we're like traveling the world, we was just like in our shared house, or even our house, just like dinner for two by M&S.
Yeah, that was the most that we got. So, but the thing is, it's like once my mindset was changed on that, I just felt like it was so easy just to be more present, like be more there for my kids, like stop just like constantly working late and constantly just doing these things to achieve nothing, and actually just be there for them. And just go on, like we've been going on staycations for years, and I don't care. Like we're gonna keep going to Scotland and do what we need to do, because it's like we still haven't achieved what we want to achieve as yet. But it's for me. It was, and then to see as soon as my mindset changed, like everything became more beautiful. Like, everything, like my life became more beautiful. Like our clothes, our kids, like our lifestyle. We really invested in making, like doing the simple things really well, and taking pride in enjoying the simple things. Like a new series we can watch together, like a new series we can watch with the kids, or a new park we can get the kids to. It was all of those basic things which became so important to us. And it's just that it's change of mindset. It's a journey.
Like I think for me it was hard because I was just like the paradox of female, like what it is to be female in this modern age. It's like you gotta be sassy, but sweet. You gotta be a homemaker and a bread maker. Like not bread maker, I mean money. You have to be like holy and like, but then sexy and raunchy. Like it was just exhausting. I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. And my husband was just like, seriously, like, and that was hard because I felt like God really wanted me at the place where I was working, and so it was just like I knew I needed to step up, and I was trying to go for interviews, but it was just like every door was closing, and I just oh, it was so hard. I was just like, my confidence was just like boom, like down to the floor. And it was just like, babe, I just can't be the woman you need me to be. It was just so hard because there are women out there, and I'm just amazed by you guys, like that can do it all. It's just like literally just earn so much money and like have loads of kids and like look amazing. It was just like, but I was just like, I just can't do it. Like I just like I really feel like God wants me to be at the place that I'm working, and like it was like a lot of sacrifice, a lot of humility, a lot of like a lot of home truths, a lot of communication and speaking to each other and encouraging each other as well, even though sometimes we tear each other down, trying to rebuild trust and build each other up again, and apologizing. There was lots of all of that. So yeah.
Wow. I'm just gonna let everything sink in, because honestly, guys, wow. And do you know what it is? Sometimes I feel as though people aren't willing to accept that when you get into a relationship, a lot of what you think you're coming in as, this is my, I don't know, pride and joy badge, that I'm like this, I'm like that. Half of those, by the time you're in that relationship, have to get stripped off. Like you said, you were dealing with, I want to reach the top, but it's like, but for what? If it makes me lose everything else, which is trying to be there with me, what's the point? Like, what does it matter at this point? And like you said, Miri, as well, being in a position where you were stuck with, okay, do I do this? Do I do that? But going, okay, what's the bigger picture? God wants me to be here. Let me do what needs to be done at this point in my life. Honestly, it's just,
I think I needed to stop comparing myself as well, because it was like people that I just feel like, wow, like Patricia Bright, I'm just like, she's amazing, just like pop out a child and then make a video go viral and then like bless the world with budget sheets, like, you know, and you're like, who is this woman? Like, I just love her, but at the same time it was like, I was getting pregnant at uni and she was investing in her hustle at uni. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, I can't be expecting her portion, but I didn't make that investment. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was just struggling. So it was like, I just need to be grateful and like see what God has done for me, which is so much. But if you compare yourself, you can just let that blessing be robbed from you, and then you're just not even content with the beautiful man that's in your life, like, or the beautiful kids that are in your life, because you're just constantly looking outside.
It's so true. Comparison is the thief of joy. It's so true. God could be blessing you, but the moment you start comparing, it's like everything just flies out the window and we forget everything. So that's very key as well. Don't compare yourselves whether it's in a relationship, dating. Like you said, people are at different stages. That's just how life is. I'm trying to read some of the comments as well. You guys have blessed everyone on this live tonight. Guys, if you've only just joined, I don't think you realize, actually, in saying that, we are so lucky now that Instagram actually saves lives like straight away onto IGTV. So anyone who hasn't been able to watch this whole thing, I advise you and encourage you to sit and watch this evening. It has been absolutely amazing. I don't think you realize how many
that's encouraging
gems have dropped. It has been so good. Unfortunately, time's flying away. I know it's going to try and cut me off in like 5 minutes, but if you guys could say something in the space of like 2 minutes of what you would leave with a couple, I know that's almost impossible, but just whether it's a key sentence when it comes to marriage or relationships.
I think quickly you did have something lastly on prayer, and I know we don't have time, but I think Matthew found some amazing research that was
so I think it's like, it's done based in America, as most of these research things are, but it was like the rate of divorce in church is the same outside of church. So 50% of people who get married, 50% will get divorced. Nothing changes. But then for those people who say that they pray together daily, one out of like 1,200 get divorced. So it was just like, yeah.
Prayer is key,
So
guys.
like, it's not a joke. So it's clear that, yeah, it's like, so we were like, we couldn't believe that, but then we checked it out, and there was like an actual study which was done. And so it's something which we feel like we don't do it nowhere near enough.
Yeah, we need to pray more.
But at the same time, it's like every time we've done it, every time there's been something really difficult that we've been going through in our marriage, financially, like housing, jobs, everything has been like massive God intervention. Every time we've just been like, we need help, we need God. And also just in terms of like the intimacy that it brings us when we like read the word together, when we pray together, it's something that it's like
you step out of being a wife or like, and you see them in God's eyes because you're just trying to give them back. You've exhausted all your other resources, and you're like, I don't have nothing else to give. So God, can you just step in here, please? But then it kind of helps you see them in a different light. Like you see them more vulnerably and more like God's child, and you're like, oh.
So guys, just like again, it sounds cliche, but the statistics back it up. Pray together, like in like start a prayer life, like even if just a simple, like what can I pray in the morning? Wake up. What can I pray about for you or with you today? About what are the most things you're worried about? I'm worried about, I don't know, a report I'm due. Let's just pray about it. Like just having that support.
And that
like,
was
so important.
Hard for me at first, because when they said that in our course, it was like, oh yeah, that's nice. But one of my love languages is acts of service. So I'm like, he's like, what can I pray for you? I'm like, I need stuff doing. But then I realized, and I feel challenged by it myself, like it's like, no, like it's really important. And actually like him being able to pray for me helps reshape his view of me, reshapes what he can give to me, because he's seeing me the way God sees me, as opposed to just doing something for me in the flesh and in the visual. I feel like I'm learning that still, so let's learn together, people. Let's pray.
Prayer is key. That's amazing. I didn't even know that was the statistics. That's incredible. Prayer really...
I don't know where we can find it for you guys, but look it up. And the course that we're on is HTB marriage course.
The marriage course. So we just Google HTB, the marriage course.
It's free.
It's free. They're doing it now for lockdown. It's incredible. You can sign up and away you go. So. And
we've been meaning to do this course for like ages. And don't be selfish, like do it with your friends. And like do a little Zoom group and see how you guys are getting on, because that's really helped us through this time. That's transformed our lockdown struggle.
Wow. Honestly, guys, I don't think I can thank you enough for this evening. I'm blown away with the gems that you have dropped. It has been amazing. And I'm telling you now, we're definitely having you back on. Like, it's going to happen. Because we need for real. It's been so good. And I'm so happy that you guys actually wanted to do it as well. And were able to be authentic. You shared things, you know, which will save people's relationships and open people's eyes as well to relationships. So I really, really want to thank you guys. And the whole of Parkside want to thank you as well, because this is, I guess, Parkside's page.
No, we love Parkside. Thank you, Parkside. We genuinely, you guys played a massive part in the beginning of our marriage. So thank you so much. You guys. Really we love you guys. Thank you for even trusting us, because we've never been trusted before.
Honestly, you guys definitely. Anyway, we'll be in touch, because this is the beginning. We need more of this for real, honestly. Thank you so much. I want to thank everyone for watching as well. Like I said, you can watch this live. It will be up there soon. I'm not sure how quick it transfers, but watch this episode, guys. This was really, really key. So yeah, I want to thank you guys again, because it's counting down. But have a great evening, and everyone else have a good evening as well. Stay safe. and take care. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.